cut costs on the airport. So we bring the whole process from after ticketing. So we create an NFT ticket until the boarding of the aircraft and the departure itself. On average, we calculated it's about 27-28% of costs what they could cut.
Hi Sebastian, great to see you here for the second Travel Unchained event on Mallorca, beautiful Mallorca. Thanks for taking the time to talk about Web3, blockchain and travel.
Mm-hmm. It's a pleasure for me as well, being here the second time, and actually we already had a couple of meetings, so it's even more a pleasure to see a lot of old friends and new interests who are coming to that event. I'm looking very much forward to that.
It's a great networking event. It will probably feel like a family meeting.
It will, definitely.
So you started very early with ESO travel into the blockchain
indeed.
Space. Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually very actually good idea, as we found out now, since it's I guess 3 years now. And we started actually not on Chain for Travel, but
because it wasn't there yet.
It wasn't there yet, yes, indeed. It was on Polygon, and hope I can mention that at this stage. Our owner and founder of the company is a very entrepreneurial in that case, and he's always interested in new technologies, AI, blockchain, and that's the reason why I got some funds, and we are still running that project, and I'm looking forward to maybe to enhance that to other use cases as well.
On Camino.
Hopefully on Camino, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you see, where do you see the potential of Camino Network as a blockchain network?
Yeah, I guess the biggest advantage is that it is focused on tourism. And tourism gives us the opportunity to connect a lot of different parties together, not only for selling and distribution, but also for the contracts, for a lot of relationships in between to automate processes. And well, our standards are sometimes from the 70s, we were still working on.
Systems,
and I hope we can somehow evolve that and bring it to a new level with Camino.
Do you have a specific use case in mind when you speak about standards, for example?
Well, one use case is, of course, that what we are just building already on for an airline from Switzerland. That use case is basically to reduce or to cut costs on the airport. So we bring the whole process from after ticketing. So we create an NFT ticket until the boarding of the aircraft and the departure itself. So we cut the DCS systems, we cut the all the processes at the airport, what usually needs to be paid by the airline for renting the computers, for the ramp agents, and that will be all transferred to the blockchain. And on average, we calculated it's about 27-28% of costs what they could cut.
So significant. So blockchain as a back-end technology,
correct,
reducing costs.
Yeah.
What are the advantages for the customer?
Actually, the customer, and that is just one use case we created for cutting that cost. Besides, and that, let's say it's a waste product, is luggage tracking as an example. So today some airlines are already tracking the luggage. So usually I get an online back tag what I got pushed to my app and informed that the luggage is on the way. With blockchain, we get even one step further, and we're telling the customer, your luggage is in the airplane or it is now out of the airplane. So the customer is always aware what's happening with the luggage.
Right. Yeah.
And
Great.
fingers crossed, my luggage this time arrived on time.
Not like last time.
Not like last time. And especially, usually, if you have point-to-point, it's not that difficult. But if you have any interchanges, then it's a real mess for...
complex itineraries.
Yeah. And it's usually, it mustn't be the fault of the airline, but that happens. If you have any delays, then you have a delayed luggage, and that's a complaint of the customer. But if you can already tell the customer up front or before he even depart, because you know as an airline that the luggage will not be on board, you can not upsell, but you can make proactive troubleshooting and tell the customer, listen, we are sorry.
Compensation, perhaps.
Compensation, you can already fill out the form. Last time I spent 2 or 3 hours on the airport waiting for the luggage, filling out a form, and going then back to, or going onwards to my hotel. If I already know that up front, we can write that, do that stuff already on board when I'm in the airline. I don't waste the time, 3 hours at the airport, off I go, and then I got the luggage when it's there. Telling people up front that something is wrong or doesn't work well is usually the better case than the other way around.
And it comes back to the characteristic of a blockchain network to create transparency among the partners, including the customer.
Yeah, right.
So it's perfect actually for that use case, baggage tracking.
Yeah.
And also serving as a shared single source of truth, right? For our partners.
Yeah. Indeed.
So do you see other areas of use cases where you're already working on or talking with partners? And
actually, we have quite intense conversation with a lot of people within the industry. Yes, a good example is also car hiring. So today, I just come from Albania, so I was on vacation last week.
Wow, great. Great destination.
It is. But legacy world, you go to the airport, I go to the rental car station, I have to fill out the form, I have to present my ID that I'm allowed to, my driving license.
Yes.
And then he's handing over the key, and then I'm allowed to take the car on the blockchain. And actually we just hired from DriveNow a blockchain developer, one of the lead developers from that case. You already know that from any car sharing company. You go to the car, you tap on you reserve it online, have your ID, scan it, and then you can already start driving without presenting your driving license.
Yeah.
That works on blockchain. You have the possibility to verify from a official authenticator that you have a driving license, that you are allowed to drive, and then you can go. And with that rental car company, we are in conversation that imagine that you can already have that done before you even start, or you wait 2 hours at the airport. You already prove that you have your driving license still, because usually you have to confirm that you are still in possession of that, and then you can directly go and don't waste. In Finland last year, I waited 2 hours for getting my car.
And on top of it, you need to circle around the car just to make sure there are that nothing happened, that it was not documented, sort
Indeed.
of, any damages. So I think that if we could store all that information on blockchain,
Indeed.
we can store it today, but it can be tampered with. On blockchain, you can't tamper with the information. It's immutable, right?
Yeah.
So that would give me so much confidence that I can rely on what's there already documented, and I just jump into the car and go. So now I need to spend time and make a video for myself, etc. So I think for me, it's the pain point.
Indeed, indeed, and that's all only the view of yourself, so of the customer. If you imagine, if you have a better process, the insurance company or the reinsurance company for the rental car company, all that comes into effect, gives you better rates, you save money on that, and there are a lot of, again, if you look holistic on that whole travel, and that's why Camino is my dream world actually, and I'm so I'm so sad that well, we talked 2 years ago about that, but half year earlier, and we could have done that also on.
Yeah, you still could do it.
Yeah, but the funds of my of my books are not unlimited. But I'm trying hard to get
create a new use case.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I think Camino has the advantage to connect the travel industry. I mean, so fragmented, right? Globally.
Yeah.
And my vision is really to have even smaller players, whatever, in Bali, like an activity provider, just connecting to the network and being able to sell or to buy anything he needs on the network. Because I mean, the great thing is that the companies are certified, verified. So that's a perfect, marketplace.
And if you know your customer, know your business, if you have that possibility to store contracts on chain, as you said, we have that marketplace. Well, still is the dream of us. But if we have something in place, you can skip a lot of intermediates in between. That gives pros and cons to the industry. But I think connecting those that world, that is state of the art.
You're talking about a very important point. Blockchain is, people talk about blockchain cutting out the intermediary. I have a different view because it's a new world like we had with the internet, and everybody can adjust to that new view.
Indeed.
And still for intermediaries, it was just a high cost to connect to the content that they need and to resell, basically. So I think it will be hopefully easier, and we can all more concentrate on the creative part of travel, creating experiences for the customers, because the content is not, the technical connection to the content is not the problem anymore. It doesn't cost you 30,000 euros to connect to one API.
Yeah, and you don't have not only one API, usually you have 10 or 10, 20 or more.
Yeah, larger tour operators, like 850 APIs to maintain.
Then get a new one. That's horrible. Well, for me as an IT provider, if I would be the provider, that would be, of course, amazing, because I earn a lot of money from a maintenance perspective, and from a tour operator perspective, a real nightmare. Long time to go live, and it's
time to market. You need to be that quick, for nobody's waiting, right? So you just customers just move on to a different player. And
that's one case. The other is to experience new destinations. And the diversity comes not from a tour operator today. If you go to Check24 or Expedia, you have that hotel probably 15 times and I can fly from Nuremberg from 15 different suppliers, and they all variate in, like, say, cents different. There's also diversification, so that's not the point. So also in the future, you have even more possibilities to diversify your product with that solution, to bring more opportunities to a booking. You can enhance, you can push new features. If I just look out, you can go jet skiing, you can upsell all those products during the trip. You have the wallet, you can push that information to the customer. Hey, today, rainy, my parents were just in Oslo, rainy day. How about the Munch Museum? How about a city trip in a warm bus? And all that can be pushed automatically.
Just thinking, about the whole part of personalization. If you share, if the customer shares the preferences, you, as a tour operator or activity provider, you could, go out on the spot and
but you
look for
already have that.
Yeah.
You already have those informations. If I just look at our customers, Wikinger, Legoland, all those, how much data they are now already
Amassing.
that's
But they can't do anything.
No, they do not as much as they probably can do, because it's also a lot of effort to create some ideas out of that. But Legoland, usually you go with your family, so you know the age, you know the birth dates. You can just, if the person goes into the park, you have the QR code. The QR code is scanned. You know where the person is, what they are doing. All that can be tracked, and the next time the customer can be again treated and said, hey, you were in favor of the following restaurant, you liked the balloon ride, and so on and so forth.
So you mean tracking on blockchain or? Yeah,
right.
Exactly, yeah. So, but also, I mean, if you have your own personal identity, and then you decide to share some transactional data with Disney, for example, and with Legoland, for example, then Legoland would have even more.
That I see a little bit critical, because sharing is
the customer would share it.
If they do, yes, I agree, but then you need a good reward program behind. So
because you wouldn't do it for just nothing,
for
but
free.
work. Like
I probably, if you have a smart way, today I share everything on Google. So Google knows everything from me.
Yeah.
And they know where I am. I pay with my Google wallet, so it's very transparent. So I don't see, I completely agree with you, but you need to have a benefit for the customer, or a very good reward program to incentivize all those information.
I think the reward at Google is that you get like the Google Maps information where you have a traffic jam, etc. Or now you need to go to the airport, but it kind of feels spooky. Google knows so much, and I rather have my own intelligence, AI perhaps managing me based on my personal data that I own in a data vault.
I completely agree, and if you, I guess the smartest way, if you have that in one wallet.
Yes.
And then you can also less maintenance for a tour operator if you just push the data there. Yeah. And then you have that, and that's also the benefit for, I agree, as you said, if you sell the flight as a tour operator, and then you have seat reservations. Seat reservations are usually, or upsells during the flight. Not possible, you need another API, a lot of maintenance work, etc., etc. If you have that on blockchain, the airline is allowed to contact the customer directly. If the customer books, then the tour operator also can get a reward for that, and a commission. Does the airline, or does all participants in that game want to share or want to give that? That's also something I talked with quite a lot of tour operators, cruise companies. Oh, I have to give commission to any of those parties. Well, they should get a benefit for selling or the products of themselves. So rethinking for the whole industry might be necessary.
Yeah, I think it will help the whole industry since it's so fragmented. Yeah. Coming back to the Easy Gruppe and Easy Travel, how do you see yourself positioned in the consortium that we now have, the Camino Consortium? Yeah. And what are your plans?
Actually, as well, we are we stated World Global one of the first validators as well. So
yes.
Being in the background there, and I think consulting and solution provider, that is the core what we are aiming to provide. And as we are already building those apps on on another blockchain. I'm looking very strongly forward to have those in the future as well on Camino working.
It could be easily ported because it's EVM compatible, right?
Indeed.
Yeah.
We haven't tested it yet, so that's...
well, we are looking forward to that.
Yeah. Me too. And as that is proven, we could have that launched as well and give access to that. That's one topic. And to enhance the consultancy for that. And we're also talking about or talking with customers, but that's, let's say, should be a minor topic to offer the hosting for a possible new validator.
Validator as a service, not as a service.
Yeah. But that, I guess, is not a big market compared to solutions which are necessary.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we see a lot of opportunities, of course. Distribution we talked about, loyalty we touched a little bit with Legoland, for example, and payment settlement, identity, automation in itself, right?
Settlement is something you can... on the World Aviation Festival, I had a very good conversation with an airport, and they have a middle 2-digit million costs for going to court every year because they have various breaches of their SLAs. Wow. And incredible. And with blockchain, single source of truth, you have all the parties. If you think about the turnaround process, the airplane is landing, goes to the finger, then you have the cleaning staff has to go in. After that, the catering can go in, and so on and so forth. And if that is not, if usually they go out, nothing is telling them, then you have a time delay, and that is multiplied afterwards. And then everybody has to complain, then you're afterwards you're discussing whose fault was it. Single source of truth, they are scanning, it goes directly to the blockchain, and not only that, you have the proof who has gone out of the airplane at what time. Also, you have at the beginning of the contract, you have defined what is the service level agreement, and if that is breached, then automatic payment is splitted among all the participants who needs to be paid.
If-then conditions.
Yeah.
So if, then payout.
Yeah, and that's usually a very easy from my perspective. In a perfect world, that's a very easy process, and we have that today as well. We have that if we have any faults in our program. We have also to keep track of our SLAs. If we don't, then we have probably penalties we have to pay, and we do. So why shouldn't we automate those processes, and to just do not waste any time with that? It's a very, very simple process.
Yeah, I think now we have the technology at hand to do so, right? With several parties, which is remarkable because of before we only focused on the company itself. Indeed. And now we have a technology where we can actually work together with other companies on the same level. So in a secure, transparent way.
Yeah. Indeed.
Yeah. So how do you see the development of a Camino Network Web3 in a 2-3 years time frame?
Good question. To be honest, I'm quite interested about the next few days, how people are looking at that topic. If I compare it to last year, there were a lot of people more who are interested in that, and I think that we need to have some use cases up and running, and then it would be Selbstläufer. What do you say?
It would go on its own, right? It's, because that's also about community approach.
Yeah.
So there's no one company. Of course, Chain Forward is facilitating the network, but in the end, it's the consortium that will push the developments and push the further advancement of the network.
And I think that as soon as we have some real use cases up and running in a company, and they are
like,
and then it would go further on. Up to now, I would say a lot of people are looking, thinking, and don't be too pushy. But I think with the hackathons you organized already that year and will come later or next year. I think that's the perfect way to emphasize also the developers and the companies to see what kind of possibilities they have, and I think we will see something.
Yeah. I think hackathons are great because you have like in 2-3 days you have a lot of results at hand that could be implementable, like a proof of concept that you can implement. So what would you recommend a company that is more on the that
conservative?
Yes.
I think they should definitely look at that topic, because it will for some topics that will be the future. Get into conversation, well, with us, with you, with others within the industry, and I think that if you're interested in, let's say, rethinking processes, take some of your most horrible topics inside in your company, discuss that with one of the experts in the market, and then see if that can bring a benefit to your company. Not everything is meant to be
actionable.
Yeah, that's a good word. But there are a lot, and that's the point. And if we just need to, every company needs to find, and if I'm thinking about big companies in the industry, they have so many systems or the ecosystems of that. Everybody needs to be involved. Everybody needs to look at that. And I found out that as bigger as the company is getting, usually create a small use case and then look at that and have a quick result on that, and then see how that works. And today, I think we can do with 20 to 40 days quite a lot to see how processes can look like. Of course, maybe with a happy world or happy path approach, but all in all, gives you a first impression of the capabilities.
And there's already so much out there in terms of smart contracts that is open source can be used. And I think that blockchain is just a tool, right?
Yeah,
it's the tool like AI for further digital transformation. And what you do in digital transformation, you look at your processes, you look at your pain points, as you said, right? Or potentials, and then you look at the technologies, how it could help you to progress, to reduce costs, as we talked in the beginning, or to make more money in the end, right?
And I think the one of the biggest points I see is just imagine that if we have payment on blockchain, we don't need a PSP provider.
3% credit card cost.
And that's a very good percentage. I just talked to that morning with another, it's more 5 to 7%.
Wow.
And if I just can say we just cut that.
But the secure way of paying, because blockchain, the validators verify the funds before the settlement actually, or the payment settlement actually takes place, right?
And it will definitely, you have your transaction cost on chain that will be deducted from those 3 to 5%, but all in all, you have a cut-off cost, and that could give you the possibility to think again, okay, how about an own currency in your or loyalty program? And there are so many potentials you can easily create then out of those things.
Thank you so much, Sebastian. It was great to talk.
It was
I'm
a
looking
pleasure.
forward to the event with you. And thanks for giving us so many insights.
It was a pleasure. Let's have a look how the next days are.
Thank you.
You're welcome.